strange Sunday called Trinity Sunday doesn't affect an action of Jesus, his birth, his death, his resurrection. It's actually a Sunday talking about, of all things, a doctrine. And there's this joke amongst clergy that you always make your assistant preach on this day, because no matter what you say, you're always going to fall into heresy. So I've never had an assistant. So I've always just preached on this Sunday. And it's actually one of my most favorite feasts to preach about, because it talks about the mystery of God. But if you think about it, the mystery of God is sometimes so simple, so profound, that we really don't need to say much about it. It's interesting because Christians love to explain everything to death, literally. That they just keep on talking and talking and talking. That in all the words that they do, sometimes miss the point. You know, if you come to the 10 o'clock, we sing the 3 longest hymns known in the hymnal. There's my favorite hymn, St. Patrick's Breastplate, which goes on for 9 verses and 3 pages. But you have to sing it. Or, Holy God, we praise thy name. Growing up as a Catholic, I knew only 3 verses. Episcopalians, well, we do everything a little bit more. There's 9 verses of that as well. Some churches today will recite the Athanasian Creed, which I will spare you, because that too goes on for 3 pages. It seems that we love to explain things, but in the process of explaining, we forget why we're doing the explaining. And really what this feast celebrates is the personhood of God in love with each other and in love with us. You know, Patrick pulled out the shamrock and said, look, Father, Son, and Spirit. We all know that picture. Boniface, who we celebrated last week, was the great missionary to Germany. Tradition has it he hacked down an oak tree, because that's what the Germans were worshiping, and out sprung up a pine tree. And he said, look, it's a pine tree, Father, Son, and Spirit. And that's supposed to how we got the Christmas tree. But we'll leave that there. Actually, this little spirals, these 3 spirals, found this years ago. I think it's really cool. One of the first known tattoos, all you tattoo fans out there, on a Celtic Christian from the 4th century on his mummified body. Early Christians would tattoo this on them to be part of the Trinity. I'm not a fan of tattoos myself, and chicken, but I think it's cool. So we've been trying to explain this idea of the Trinity really for years and years and years. But the whole purpose of it is that we need to go back into the simplicity of God. Back in this understanding that Father, Son, and Spirit are united together in those familiar terms as a community of love. And that we're part of that community of love. Probably the Russians have the best understanding of the Trinity. There's that great icon of Anton Rublev, which is out in the hall there. And Rublev has 3 angels sitting around a cube altar, much like our cubed altar. And they're all centered around the chalice. One angel is the Father, one angel is the Son, and one angel is the Spirit. But when Rublev painted that icon, he envisioned that there would be a 4th person at that table. And that 4th person is us. We're part of that circle that encompasses everything. That we're invited to God's table of mystery. And that we're charged to go deeper. The great theologian of the Vatican Council back in the 50s and 60s was a German by the name of Karl Rahner. And Karl Rahner wrote many, many books. But probably he wrote this great phrase that speaks the most to us. If Christianity is to survive in the modern day, the Christian must be a mystic. If Christianity is to survive into the modern day, the Christian must be a mystic. What Ronner said wasn't that we need to all go off to a hermitage or a monastery and become monks and nuns, but rather that we're required to go deeper and deeper into the faith of God in prayer and in community and unity with the Godhead. And that's really what the whole purpose of the Christian church is. It's not a civic organization, it's not a nonprofit. It's about people gathering together in community around the altar with the presence of the Trinity, uniting each one to the other in prayer and in love. The last couple days I went to see my folks back in Pittsburgh, and I ran into a Roman Catholic priest friend of mine who I went to graduate school at Duquesne with. A really brilliant man who ended up getting his doctorate in theology. And we met, and he's in his late 60s, ready to retire. And I thought this was going to be just a nice little chat, catch up. But in actuality, it became a place of great sadness for him. Because in the Catholic Church in Pittsburgh, they're going through a horrible, horrible time. Now every priest has 27,000 parishioners. Yes, because there's so few priests, and their churches are in such great disrepair, they don't even know what they're doing. They have lost 20 priests this year to death or retirement, and they're ordaining 4. Next year, they're only ordaining 1. So there's this priest who has given his life to God in so many ways, and he's like, what can we do? What can we do? I'm like a management on a corporate level. All I just do is just keep the float, this Titanic. And when I was having this conversation with him, I was kind of sad and traumatized in a way. As someone who grew up Catholic, who knows the beauty of the piety of so many of these wonderful ethnic churches, and they're just closing left and right. And people are leaving in droves. Maybe we need to reflect deeper about what Ronner said, that as a church community, we, instead of acting like Walmarts of God, trying to do everything, need to ask ourselves, how do we go deeper into this mystery? Because I think only when we go deeper in prayer and in communion will we survive this time that we're in. Only if we go deeper in prayer. And so I think all of us who have faith or even struggle with their faith, we shouldn't be so much concerned about explaining the Trinity out with books or with words, but instead let's celebrate this feast day with deep prayer in that Trinity, deep communion in that Trinity. Let's go deeper in our prayer lives, deeper in our life in fellowship with each other and with God. Let's take time out to pray more, to go deeper. Because only when we go deeper will we be anchored and rooted in God even more. And that's the root of the Trinity. It's unity with God, but also God with us. So let's ask ourselves, what is this feast day is about to us? What is the Trinity to us? And how can we model that community of Father, Son, and Spirit in our lives and in our church?